Hello and welcome to the Film Vomit Podcast, an extension of the Vomit series of podcasts. As always, I'm your host, Mac Taylor, and here with me today, as always, is...
It's Cole Selby today.
Boom. I love how we always do that intro. I'm always like way the fuck up here, and then you just come in way down here, and like we out that way.
Yeah.
It's like huge build up, and yeah, it's cool. Can you just long? Love it. So today we watched Evil Bong 3, Wrath of Bong, or otherwise known as Reefer Madness. Again, I don't know why they always have two fucking titles. Cole, what were your thoughts going into this? Because I know the Evil Bong movies have been better, but like I don't know like what your expectations were going into this film.
I didn't expect the whole outer space thing to be a factor. I was not expecting that at all. Not the outer space. I knew it was going to be some weird stuff. I knew they were going to find another ball and get really high and probably have a lot of naked ladies around them again. That's that I expect. But I wasn't expecting alien invasion of Bong.
Well, you know,
space weed.
After being in the middle of the jungle with the Poontang tribe, there's only so many places you could go after that. And this is one of the only franchises like I'll excuse outer space themes. Like,
yeah,
when we're this ridiculous, I'll excuse it. Different when it's like something that's actually like perceived as like really good.
Yeah.
So we start this movie out with a meteor, just so you know, like where we're at. And this simultaneously, this guy, I guess he murdered his wife. It's not super specifically stated, and like he's only credited in the movie as killer, so like we didn't really get context here. But while he's burying his wife, the meteor lands, and he goes over to, and he touches it, and like I never understand why people do this in space movies. Like it was just on fire.
Yeah,
and you're just gonna put your hands all over it.
He does something worse. He freaking
licks it. Yeah.
I don't know.
Random green space goo. And you're just going to get a little tasty taste.
Yeah.
And they do like a real close up on his tongue.
Yeah.
It made me a little uncomfortable how long they held on that shot. And this actor, for those who are fans of like Rob Zombie movies, he was in House of a Thousand Corpses in the opening as well. So like when he showed up, I was like, oh, hey, they actually got someone like I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
It's rare in these movies that's someone like an actual like actor. I put the quotes on because these guys, the Evil Bong guys are not bad. It's not like the Ginger Dead Man where there's like some real questionable casting choices. Like these guys are great, but like I only know them from this. Like this guy I knew from other stuff. So, you know, it's like, oh, hey, that guy. Kind of like Chong when you're watching the first movie. You're like, oh shit, it's Chong.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little bit of a different experience. So we get the same theme song we've had in the past two movies, which I'm totally cool with. It's a great song.
Yeah.
They did get a little bit better with the editing this time though. They actually like did some different cut scenes and stuff and transitions. I was proud of them there.
Yeah, the whole opening wasn't just weird images of their like little PowerPoint. It was actual footage of
this was
like
somewhere
a
in the beach of California, I think.
Yeah,
I'm not super familiar. I've never been, so I don't know what exact area they're in, but it has like all the street vendors and shit. It was visually interesting. It wasn't just credits.
Yeah.
I don't know who edited this film. I don't know if it was the same as the other ones, but they put a little more work into it. They tried a little harder on the filmmaking side. And then I think for the writing and everything else, they did that just about the same as they did in the other two movies. But they have, the first writing, movie, like we said, is just 2 rooms.
Yeah. Like I think the writing's fine. Really overall for the movie itself, like where they did get better.
And maybe we're just traumatized from the shitty Ginger Dead Man movies we've been watching.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad we've done them like a Ginger Dead Man movie and an Evil Bong movie. I'm glad we didn't do like all 3 Ginger Dead Man movies and then like because I would have really ran me into the ground. So it's like we watch these like pure dog shit movies and then we're like, even if a movie's like subpar, we're like, oh man, that like made a little bit of sense. Like, okay.
Yeah, like if you eat shit for long enough, like dirt will taste good.
Great analogy. So after the credits, we get another recasting of Alistair.
Yeah.
And my assumption this time, I think for the second movie, they genuinely couldn't get the guy from the first movie. And then when they were making this movie, they're like, wouldn't it be funny if we did it again and then made another joke about how he didn't recognize him? So like, I think this movie was just for the joke. Whereas I think the second movie was them legitimately having to recast. And I was fine.
Everyone that they recast him as has done a great job as the character of Alistair.
I actually think
like,
the first Alistair actor was the worst of the three.
Yeah.
But they all did a pretty decent job.
Yeah.
So yeah, we see Alistair. He's works for
the Space Institute.
Yeah, they never really specify like what he does, but he's been following this specific meteor. And he's like doing his whole like he does this a couple times in the movie, the whole like captain's log thing. And meanwhile, Larnell sneaks up on him and doesn't recognize him at first. And Larnell has long hair now, a mustache, and he's wearing like a ninja headband.
Yeah.
And he does his usual like, "Are you working for the feds, man? Who sent you? Why are you here?" kind of thing. And then he's like, "Oh, Alistair, I didn't recognize you. You've been working out." And I'm like, "Ha!" I was like, "Please tell me they did this just for that joke, because that's fucking brilliant." And it's good to see Larnell again. I love that actor. He does such a good job in his role.
Yeah, he does.
And basically, Larnell's also been tracking this meteor somehow, because he thinks that the Area 51 aliens are planning a rebellion because they've been living off of, he says, tater tots in old Milwaukee, which is such a specific thing that he thinks the government is feeding these aliens.
Extremely strange. Very.
But it's totally Larnell. Like, the thing about the Evil Bong movies is we have the same characters, and it feels like a natural progression. Like Larnell, in the first movie, he was very paranoid about this shit, but like with each movie, he falls deeper and deeper in the hole with it. By this point, he's actually like living off the grid, trying to be a ninja. He's learning from a guy who works on car stereos. Great stuff. He also said that the alien conspiracy involves James Cameron. He said, "Did you see Avatar is just a 5-hour love letter to his home planet?"
Yeah, that shit got me. That was so funny.
That was great. It was a great reference. That's another thing about the Evil Bong movies, though. They have a lot of like rapid fire jokes that are like pretty decent. Like the writing is pretty solid throughout these three films. And again, we have sat through 3 Ginger Dead Man movies. So if you're like listening to this and you're like, "Well, I watched it. It wasn't that funny," but like you have to think about where we were last week as compared to now. It could only go up from Ginger Dead Man 3. So
yes.
Meanwhile, then we go to Bachman and Brett, who now run a smoke shop, which the place they're in is clearly a set. Like the way the walls are set up and everything, like it's very clearly a set, which is fine. I'm not expecting top-notch production value. They're doing what they can with what they got. Shoot. Okay, so the guy from the killer guy from earlier comes to sell the bong, the alien bong, to Bachman and Brett. He goes to like ring the bell, which doesn't work, which I don't know how a bell doesn't work exactly.
At first I thought it was
because he had gloves on.
I thought they just forgot the
effect. You thought they just were lazy editing.
Yeah. I thought you just forgot.
Well, at first I was like, is it because he has gloves on? Because sometimes you can't get the reverberation if you have like a muffled thing. So he rings the bell doesn't work. Then he starts yelling. Bachman finally does come out.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Dude, you're making so much noise out here. You rang my bell like 15 times. He's like, "Well, if you heard it, why didn't you come out?" And he's like, "Hear what?" He's like, "The bell." He's like, "Bro, the bell doesn't work." I'm like, "All right, great. This is great stuff here." Then Brett comes out, and Brett's grown out the hair and the beard. I like that look for Brett. He looks a little more matured.
Yeah.
And because he has a failed athletic career, he's now running this smoke shop with Bachman, who's probably one of the worst people to run a business with.
Yeah.
And Bachman wants to buy the alien bong.
Yeah.
But this one's actually a bong this time. I will give them credit for that.
Yes,
because
it's an actual bong.
Like when people hit it and stuff, like it is from the top. I'm like, it took us 3 movies, but we actually got killer bong. It actually worked. I was impressed. But it's very clearly like foam rubber.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when they go to hit it, you can see it bend a little bit, but it's fine. The design wise, it looks pretty great. But it's just a little more rubbery. Whereas like EB's more like solid, and the King Bong was stone.
Yeah.
But again, props for making an actual bong.
Yeah. And I like the design of this bong, actually. It would be something I would have at the house.
And the voice too. I dug the voice of it.
Yeah, I even wrote down, it's like, I love the voice of the alien bong.
Yeah, got a great job. Which all the bong voices were pretty solid.
Yeah.
But this bong, just because he's like an evil overlord, I love the voice. I love the look. It all went together very well.
You insignificant worm.
It's so much fun.
He's just like Gramps, but alien bong.
Exactly. So the guy wants $50 for it, which is super cheap for something that big. Brett talks it down to $20. The guy tries to like give him the murder weapon he used, and they're like, we're not a pawn shop, we're a smoke shop, so $20. And the guy touched the counter, which is pertinent to later, because he takes off his glove and you see the green shit is all over his hand. It kind of gives me like Jordy Verrill vibe. I don't know if you've ever seen Creep Show, but there's a segment where like a guy touches a meteor and ends up like having this moss grow all over his body. Very similar to that. And I wonder if that was actually what inspired that. I wonder if the writers like were kind of taking a Creep Show approach, because it's a little too similar not to think there was at least a little bit of inspiration there. But good stuff. So that guy leaves, takes his $20 for this thing that he found. I mean, it's profit.
Yeah.
And
then we never see him again.
Yeah, we never see him again. We can only assume what's happened to him since.
Yeah.
And then Bachman wants to go try it out, which that's not a thing smoke shops do.
No.
Nor do they really, nor is it like a resale place typically.
No,
but
not really.
Again, it's Bachman and Brett. I guess they're just doing what they can to make some semblance of money. And he's like, dude, you don't even know like where that thing's been. Like, we got to call somebody, figure out what this is first. And while he's on the phone with Alistair, Bachman sneaks into the back to smoke this out. And like while he's loading it up, it comes to life and kind of starts shit talking him. Yeah, it's like you're lower than low, a complete insignificant waste of space. And he like shit talks the strain of weed he's using too. It's like, something low of this caliber has no business being. Great stuff.
It's overly mean.
Yeah, but like it's great. The bong has its own kind of personality, which is that's unique to this specific one.
Yeah.
It's very, very good. So Bachman tokes out of it, gets sucked into the alien bong world. And what I thought was interesting too about the editing here is when they get sucked into there's no ripple effect.
Yes.
So great. Glad they learned from that. There's no weird editing effects on the footage. They just lit it differently. Like the alien chicks had like the glow in the dark paint.
Yeah.
So like it visually looked like a new world, but they didn't like it wasn't cheap. Like it actually put some effort into it, which was bravo there.
And this really shows like how good how much more they put into like set design and stuff when they actually get to the alien world. Like it's a lot of like props and stuff that actually looks like it was hard to work on and make.
As compared to the first one, they were like, we have this strip club we can use for a day.
Yeah.
So just put a little ripple effect around it. It'll be fine.
This like they actually had to make their props and it looks pretty fun, pretty good.
And they have the smoke machine on the ground, like you can't see the
Mhm.
ground at all throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
They got the alien liquid in the bottle, so it's like just like a water jug with like a green light going up through it, but still,
Yeah.
fucking production value.
Mhm.
So Bachman goes there, and is immediately. You'd think this is the third time this has happened to him. You think he would know, don't fall for the chick in the bong world.
Yeah.
But he does anyway, immediately. Like he has no excuse. Like he has been screwed over twice. And he's just immediately like, this is fine. I don't see a problem with this. The editing thing I was talking about, when they go into the bong world, they show like flashes of images that would relate to that character.
Oh,
like when Bachman goes in, there's like a monkey, a naked chick, and I think weed. And so like they flash those images when they go in. I like it was an interesting choice. Again, it was something to the movie.
Yeah, that's something that's just like it's just neat to have, and it's like I see like paying attention, like this is this guy, why, like this is what he like. I don't like it just shows like their personality a little bit more if you didn't already know about it by watching the other movies.
So yeah, then Al and Larnell come to look at the alien bong, and Brett's like, if you want to take it, you got to pay for it. And he said he paid $100 for it because he's trying to double. And Al's like, I don't have any money. I'm like, you work for the Space Institute and you have no money on you? Like, what do you do? I know you make a decent amount of money. You don't get those, really expensive college degrees to not make a decent amount of money back on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like if your job is to go check out weird
meteors
space rocks,
like you're gonna get paid.
I'm gonna get money. Yeah.
Like I know he's not just acting like he's making. I know why Larnell never has money. That totally makes sense. But I was like, why does Alan have any money? It'd been different if he used to work for the Space Institute and then got fired and now he's doing this independently. I would understand if he had no money then.
Yeah.
But they did not do that. That was like my one small little gripe here.
Yeah, like he has a full-time job, but he's broke.
Exactly. And then because the difference between this bong too is even when someone's in the bong world, you can still hear them.
Mm-hmm.
So they hear Bachman in the back. So you just assume he's back there. And there's more fat chick talk. Like they've shoehorned that into 3 movies. And it's not a big thing, but they always talk about it. They even had a Star Jones reference here, which is super deep. Like that's an old reference you're gonna throw at these people. Then Luann comes in and she's not in this movie a whole lot. Like she really hasn't been in the last couple. She was only in the first movie for a real pertinent amount of time. But she's basically only here to try to get back with Brett because after she was so shady to him when he was fat, he wants nothing to do with her, but he knows if he spends too much time around her, he's going to fall for her because she's hot. So he has a restraining order. She's coming to ask about him. They're like, oh yeah, I don't know where he went. So like, and again, that's something she kind of goes away and then come back to the very end of the movie. So like, again, she was like a supporting role in the first movie and really only had a couple of scenes in the subsequent films. But she was also in the Ginger Dead Man. So we've seen a lot of Rob and Sydney in these movies. A lot. So then Rabbit shows up. Still a man of God.
Yeah.
Even though he has a hole in his Bible where he keeps his weed.
Yeah.
Which I thought
which was great. Like he still tries so hard to tell the guys like, yo, no, I'm changed. I'm all fine now. And then he just sneaks to hit the bong up in the bag.
Yeah, he also talks like they don't know what happened. Where he's like, when I was, shrunk to a doobie, and like, yeah, we know we're the ones that got you out of that. Like,
yeah.
He's like,
they even say it's like,
did you though, or were you guided
God
by a higher power? And they're like, no, that was just us.
Yeah, we saved you.
And a great Larnell line. He says, "Silly rabbit, religious institutions are corrupt, man." That cracked me up. That was really good.
Larnell
Then they
has
see
all
the,
the best
the
fucking
space
lines.
moss, or I'm assuming it's space weed because they talk about it a lot
Yeah.
as such, but it really just, it doesn't look, it just looks like grass.
Yeah.
It's spreading all over the counter because again, it's like the guy touching it. Anything it touches, it'll just take over.
Yeah.
And every time someone says meteorite, Larnell corrects them. He says spaceship. So like, oh man, this stuff in the meteorite is like spaceship. It's again, just a small thing that totally works with Larnell's character. They really, again, bravo. Thoughts on those subtle Larnell things?
Larnell has the best lines. I think he's also the best person to deliver them to. Definitely. He's super paranoid, but not overwhelmingly paranoid. He's like extremely funny about it. And he's not wrong. I guess it's technically a spaceship. I guess.
Yeah, because like, the bong was inside of it. So you
could
kind of look at it as that. It wasn't really a meteor because the top opened up and shit. So
but like he thinks it's actual aliens crawling out of it, not an alien bong. He thinks
still
actual
an alien.
aliens are showing up. Yeah, still an alien.
So then Rabbit sneaks off and loads up the bong, even though it's still smoking it. Like he didn't clear it.
Yeah.
But also, why was it still smoking? Because in the scene before it wasn't. I wonder why that happened exactly. But he hits it. It talks shit to him.
Yeah.
About like, you lowest form of life. If I didn't need you for this, I wouldn't even accept this. But go ahead and take a toke and get out of here. And he goes to the alien bong world. And when he goes in, it flashes. It's an image of like a rabbit and a cross and weed. Because they all have that in common, really. But I paid attention to the flashes because I thought it was an interesting choice. And he meets up with Bachman, who is, they find out being milked for semen.
Which is, and Bachman's all for it at the moment.
Why wouldn't he?
He loves it right now. Yeah. And then Rabbit, of course.
Which a lot of alien invasion movies deal with that. It's like, it made sense because like a lot of alien invasion movies involve like reproduction. So this is a decent touch. The alien stuff works in this movie. It doesn't like make no sense to the world in which it exists in. So then the trio see him go into it. So now they know what they're dealing with. And like, why does this keep happening to us? By the third time, you're like, seriously? Another killer bong? Like, come on now. And also there's a joke too. Every time someone sees the alien bong, they say it looks like a cheap movie prop. That made me laugh. See, unlike Ginger Dead Man 2, this is very good breaking fourth wall because it's not super often and it's subtle. It's like a one line here, we laugh, and then we move on with the story.
Well, it fits in with them too. Like that's a joke I would actually think that they would make.
Yeah. But like 3 different characters say it. And that's what makes me laugh. Like Brett says it, Gramps says it later, and I think Larnell said it at one point. But still, it's really it's good because it's subtle. Because the thing about Ginger Dead Man 2 that really pissed me off is that it just kept hammering the meta humor just again and again and again. Whereas this one, like, again, it's like, we'll throw in this line, like, haha, we broke the fourth wall, and then we move forward with the plot. Yeah. And it never felt like it took away.
They never sit on it for too long. They just let it be the joke and then move on.
Most things are better left in small amounts. And the bong, every time the bong talks, it kind of reminds me of Larnell's grandpa, like with how it berates them. Like, because at one point it called them fecal matter, and like I was like, that's totally something Gramps would say. And Larnell talks about this is an invasion, and they're all kind of like reluctant to believe it. But I'm like, at this point, with all the shit you guys have been through, that's not too far off. You've dealt with not 1, not 2, but 3 bongs that suck people into a different world. Now you're gonna act like aliens are a stretch. Like, come on now.
I would believe aliens more than killer bongs.
Exactly. So then they call Gramps because they want to get a hold of Evie to have her help, even though she's never encountered this alien bong before. And EB is with Gramps, who now has become a kind of door-to-door weed salesman.
Yeah.
Dr. Weed and Nurse Hookah.
that I like those names. Those made me laugh.
Well, then the funny thing about Nurse Hookah is that she doesn't have any lines in the movie.
She's extremely animated.
Yes, so like everything that Gramps is saying, she like acts out. And it's hilarious. Like I was paying attention to her more than him because like I would just listen to what he was saying and just watch her act it out. It's a lot of fun. So that actress was really good because again, it's hard to not be able to say anything and still show emotion. She had to use pure body language and just nailed it. Let's see here. So they tell him about the new bong, but tell Gramps about it. And he just berates them per usual, talking about like how, and again, he also should believe this by now with all the stuff he's been through. So he berates them. He's usually an asshole though. Like this is per usual with his character. And then they show him the proof, and then he's immediately like, I'm gonna make money off this space weed. It's like, no, we don't know shit about it. Also, there are people can we focus on the main problem before we worry about the other one? But it's Gramps. He's always, money hungry. So then they should also know the formula by now. Like Brett goes to break it and they're like, hey, you can't break it. They're still inside of him. Like, yeah, like we've been over this a few times now. Yeah. You should know this. So then EB comes out and she's still mad at being left in the jungle. Which understandable, and that every time she sees these guys, something bad happens to her. So she's like, I want any part of this.
At least they bring it up. At least they don't just like let it. Like, oh, she got out the jungle,
like,
just
unlike the Ginger Dead Man movies, the past movies are relevant in a way. Like it's not like extremely there, like, but they mention the past. So like they mentioned King Bong a couple of times. They mentioned the Poontang tribe. They mentioned Felicity. She doesn't really show up till later, but she mentioned. It's not like they just acted like nothing ever happened. Nice. Nice stuff. They even mentioned the recasting with the subtle jokes. Again, subtle, not overly there. And then EB's like, that's not an evil bong. It's just a stupid looking prop. And then Bong's like, how dare you insult me like that, you pathetic little worm. You're beneath me. And she's like, who the fuck are you talking to? So we get like a shit talking session between these two bongs, which is great. Well, I'll tell you a hookah and a bong. It's great. Also with Nurse Hookah present. Doing her whole like.
It's great.
So then Brett tries to stiff arm the situation, and Nurse Hookah puts him in a chokehold. And Grant's like, Nurse Hookah is trained in every deadly hand-to-hand combat, so I'd be careful. I want like a whole Nurse Hookah movie. Like, I'm very curious about this character.
It's going to be no dialogue at all.
It's going to be a silent film. That's brilliant. Like, let's do it. So basically, because they got stiff armed in the situation, Al, Larnell, and EB are sent to Bong World. And Gramps like tries to convince EB to go, and it gets like really awkwardly sexual. So I'm like, did he like screw that bong?
I bet he did.
Like,
I bet he did.
I got very uncomfortable during that scene. and even like the look on Larnell's face where it's like, you can stop that now.
No one's okay with it. Nobody.
Especially like with all the Ginger Dead Man stuff we've seen in the past. Like, please don't take it here. Like, can we have a movie? No Ginger Dead Man jerking it in this movie. So our ratio, we're now 4 for 6, which is still too much. But it's a balance almost.
A balance of Jack and when to Jack.
So they go in. Larnell also, he always acts like he's about to do karate, but for him, it's just like this.
It's great.
But again, it's fun because it falls right into his character. It makes total sense that would be something he did. So they go into the space world. Larnell finds Rabbit, who is getting the jizz sucked out of him. Which is a strange thing to talk about. And Rabbit thinks they want to make babies to eat them. He's like, they're cannibals, man. And I'm like, what sense does that make? Like, if they want to eat babies, they could just go eat normal babies. Why do they gotta make to eat? That would make no sense. But it's Rabbit. He's not that bright.
No.
Al then goes in, does his whole captain's log thing, and ends up getting taken away by the red alien chick. So this is one of the only times Al gets seduced, which this wasn't by his choice. He kind of gets raped.
Yeah, he gets, it's forced onto him.
It's very forced. And then meanwhile, Gramps and Nurse Hookah have been smoking the space weed. So they're just giggly, and he's like, they don't want to take, this Bong doesn't want to take over the world. It wants to assimilate and live among us. Isn't that right? And the Bong's like, yes, that's exactly what I had in mind. He's like, see, he just wants to be part of us. And the Bong's like, yes, exactly. You've got it right on the nose. It's great stuff. Great. And the whole time Brett's like, are you stupid?
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Like, Brett's the only one with sense right now, and he usually doesn't have any sense.
Like, Brett's the sane one in this situation, which is not how it usually goes.
And it's so weird for Gramps, because Gramps usually like a down-to-earth kind of mindset kind of guy.
But
now he's like token on, now he's token on space weed, getting all giddy, him and Nurse Hookah.
And then Larnell finds Bachman, who is now completely weed.
Yes, he's just a pile of, which I love that. I love how like his crotch just like, I like how his crotch just like gyrates. And like when it's on,
got like this subtle movement to it. This is an interesting visual for sure.
Yeah.
Like, he sucked him dry. He doesn't have anything left, man.
It's like, they're jizz milking you, Hoss.
Yeah, and basically the whole point here is they want to make imitation humans, like Invasion of the Body Snatchers style. They even reference Invasion of the Body Snatchers here, so that makes way more sense than eating babies.
Yeah.
And then Gramps is like, even if they do invade the Earth, I'm too smart not to keep at your side. And the Bong is like, well, yeah, totally. You are incredibly intelligent.
I just love how Alien Bong just goes along with Gramps the whole time.
Yeah, but like they keep those pauses and shit in. It's freaking awesome. It's like in Child's Play 2 when Chucky pretends to be the other doll and he's like, I'm Tommy. Like it's like that. It's like a really great subtle joke in there. Comedy doesn't have to be, banged over your head. It could be bull. And again, I don't think the people that wrote the Ginger Dead Man movie wrote this film, because this writing is way too good. Yeah. And if it is the same people, were they just incredibly intoxicated when they wrote the Ginger Dead Man movie? Like, were they
those are just their off weekends, so that they go up and party, write a Ginger Dead Man movie.
We need to write a movie in a night. Here's a case of beer. Get it done. Yeah. Okay. And then the cookie stuck its dick in a glory hole. You don't do that sober. You don't.
Yeah, it's too strange.
Exactly. You wouldn't think a movie about a killer cookie could get stranger, but it does.
Yeah.
So then Brett ends up knocking out Hookah and goes to break the bong again. And Graham's like, "What are you doing? That's a terrible idea." And he's like, "Oh yeah, right. What am I thinking?" So then he goes into the world and he goes to smash he doesn't know that they're jizz containers. So he smashes them and he goes all over them. And they're like, "Oh man, sorry to tell you, that's jizz." And he's like, "Oh no, why? You really?" And he is he's glistening. So like they did a good job with that. That's his fucking. The one time Brett gets serious, he gets covered in semen. It's great.
Yeah.
Then Larnell rips Al's jizz milker off, which must have hurt and incredible. And again, that's a sentence that I had to say. But again, good effects with that milk thing. Like it's like a tube like pumping this green liquid. Like the visual was there, and the sounds it made too were very. Ugh.
Yeah.
But again, a lot more went into the production of this. I was very impressed. So then Evie's like, we need to start a chain reaction, which I'm still trying to figure out why this worked. But they smoke Bachman.
Yeah.
And for some reason, that causes this reaction that kills all the replicants.
Yeah.
And then Larnell uses his karate skills to knock out these other space alien chicks. And then Bachman smokes himself, which then makes the chicks explode.
Yeah.
I don't know why that happened.
It's super weird.
And then after he tokes himself, the alien bong explodes and they're all fine.
Yeah.
And again, I don't understand how that happened. And Gramps was like, that could have gone better. And I was like, what do you mean it could have gone better? That was the best case scenario for you.
Yeah. I do like when Larnell's using his drunken monkey.
Drunken monkey. And they do the warpy effect to it. It was very nicely edited.
Yeah. And this I think it was Bachman. He says, "You're a walrus." He's like, "Cuckoo, ka-choo."
Yeah. that was a great line. And also there was a nice line by Bachman too when he's getting milked and he says shit monkey instead of the normal monkey thing. I don't know why that made me laugh. It caught me off guard. So the day is saved. Al and Bachman are gaming and they're using I believe those controllers are called Mad Cats, if I'm not mistaken. They're like the cheapy cheaps you can get for like an Xbox back in the day. I don't know why, but that just triggered something in my childhood when I saw that. Then Larnell is talking about how much he misses Felicity, who then shows up with a pizza.
Yeah.
And she's timing. Like, yeah, well, after Gramps left, I had to go get a job, and I've been busy, but now I'm staying with you. And I'm like, wow, that came out of nowhere. But I'm glad they did.
Great happy ending.
Then Luann comes back and tries to seduce Brett in the very Luann way, where she's very awkward about it. And he takes off his robe, and we see that because he was covered in the space jizz, he's got like moss chest hair, groin hair going on. And so Luann leaves. And then Gramps and Nurse Hookah find that where the meteor landed has now grew like basically a patch of space weed. So he's like, we're selling this shit. And then that's the end of the movie there. So Cole, that was Evil Bong 3. Give me your your thoughts and opinions overall. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Did it meet your expectations? All that good stuff.
Yeah, I liked it. It was fun to watch. It was still really funny. I did end up enjoying the whole alien aspect of it.
It fit in.
Like I said, I wasn't expecting it, but it turned out really well. And also, I don't like the weird TV lady in the alien world.
I don't know why that was there, and it creeps me out a lot.
I'm thinking I'm like not getting a reference with this. Because she doesn't do anything except maybe like touch Rabbit and freak people out a little bit.
And then that's it. And the rest of the time she's just like into the camera.
Stares. Dead stares.
I don't trust her. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure if that's right. And the thing about like usually for our movies in the past, I would have like an IMDb deep dive, but there's like no information hardly about these movies because they're so low budget. And hardly anyone cares to do the research on it. But I tried, but it's about the only knowledge I got on it. But like as far as expectations, it was good. Like Evil Bong movies have been steadily good. I've been waiting for the decline because we still got a few to go. But so far, the all three Evil Bong movies are better than all three Ginger Dead movies. By far. There's no one's even close.
Yeah. I'm expecting a drop with the next movie though.
Well, yeah, because next time we will
but
be covering Ginger Dead Man versus the Evil Bong. So
yeah.
we'll see how that goes. I've never seen any movies past this. I'd seen all 6 that we've covered before, but from here on in, like I'm going in fresh. So I have zero idea how this is gonna go. But some of the later movies, like Evil Bong 420 and High Five, are only like an hour long. So it'll be much easier to do and get through. So even if it's shitty, it's only an hour.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, next time we're doing Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong, but the road will continue with the other Evil Bong movies because they're canon to the story. So, but then after we do finish the Evil Bong series, our next thing we're doing is a movie with two. So we're only doing 2 instead of like fucking 11 that we've done this time.
Yeah.
We'll be covering the Demoni franchise after this. So it's an Italian zombie kind of thing. So that'll be a big change from those that we've been doing now, which is what we needed. So Cole, what are your expectations going into Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong before we get off here?
I hope that the Ginger Dead Man gets a little overshadowed.
I think his voice changes again too, if I'm not mistaken.
I kind of hope that it doesn't take me out of the movie as much as like his other.
Yeah,
main
I'm not
movies
looking forward to it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough.
We'll be doing that Wednesday, so we got literally like 2 days to get this. To prepare for this. So, all right, with that, we'll end our discussion of today's film. If you would like to, go ahead and hit that like button down below, hit the bell notification, subscribe, do all that good stuff. If you want to hear more from me and Cole, because we do a lot of, I do a shit ton of podcasting on this thing, as well as I've started doing reaction videos. Also, comment down below if you've seen this film. What did you think? I don't know. Also, that goes for any films in the past. What do you think of Full Moon Pictures and anything like that? We'd like to have a discussion down below on some of this stuff. We really appreciate that. So until next time, guys, stay safe. Most importantly, stay nerdy.